Welcome friends to my tutorial Python the easy way. So in today's lecture we will be discussing about various operators which we use in Python language. So this is going to be a very quick tutorial and I'll be showing you how to use these operators also. So let's begin. Before we start with the operators, let me give you a very quick recap of what we did in previous video lecture. We spoke about what variables are. We spoke about various data types like integer, floating point, complex number, string, list, set, dictionary, and tuple. And we also spoke about mutable and immutable data types. So let's begin with operators. So various operators which are available to us in Python language are arithmetic operator like plus, minus, and relational operators where we compare if A is equal to B or not, if A is less than equal to B or if A is less than B, something like that. Then we have got assignment operator where we assign value like A is equal to 5 is equal to sign as assignment operator. Then we have got logical operators, bitwise operator, membership and identity operator, and one more operators are there called shift operators which we will be covering. So the very first operator which we will be talking about today is arithmetic operators. So you all have heard about addition. So a simple plus sign is used for arithmetic addition in Python language as we do in normal mathematics. So 3 plus 3 will always give you 6. If you want to add two variable names, so you can use A plus B. So if you are adding integer, numbers like A is 3 and B is also 3, and if you say A plus B you will get result as 6. Then we have got subtraction operator where we use minus sign. Similarly we have got multiplication operator for multiplying two values and we use asterisk sign to do so. Then we have got division operator. So if you are using forward slash, that is used for simple division and it will return you a floating point value. For example, here I have shown 5 divided by 3 will give you 1.66, unlike what we did in C and C++. And then we have got modulus operator. This gives you the remainder part of your division. So if I divide 5 by 3, I get 2 as the remainder, and modulus operator returns you the remainder part of your division. Next operator is called floor division. So this floor division operator is, this might be new to many who have studied C, C++. Floor division returns you only the integer part of your division. So when you divide 5 by 3, you were getting 1.66, remember? And when you apply floor division, it will give you only the integer part of this division, that is 1. Next operator is exponent operator which gives you raised to the power result. So here I have written 2 raised to the power of 3 is 8. To apply exponent you have to use asterisk sign twice. So let's just try and run these operators and see how it works. So let's begin. Before moving with the various operators, let me first take few variables on which I'll be performing various arithmetic operations using various operators. So my first variable is A, in which I'm storing data value 20. It is an integer type of variable. Then I have taken another variable B, in which I have stored 10, which is again an integer type value. Then I have taken variable C where I am storing a floating point value. So the type of variable C is a float type. And then I have taken a string type variable also, ABC. So let's just initialize all of them. Here we go. Now we will start with our very first operator, that is called arithmetic operator, and we used plus sign. So whenever I'll be performing any arithmetic operation, I need to store my result somewhere. So I'm taking a variable called result where I'll store the result of my arithmetic operation, and then I'll print this result, and I'll also show you the type of result, the returned type of result. Okay, so to check that I need to apply type of function. Fine. So here what I'm doing is I'm trying to add two integers. Okay, So here it is integer value. Both are integers. So when I add 20 plus 10, the result has to be 30, of course. And when I see the type of this is integer. So the written type is integer. So the result is integer. Whenever you are trying to add two integer value, you get result as a integer value. Okay. Now we will perform the same operation, but this time between integer and float number. Okay, so variable C is of float type. So here I am trying to add integer with a floating point number, and let's see the result. So 20 plus 1.5 is 21.5, and if I check the written type, it is float. So when you add integer with a floating point value, you get float number as a result. Now if I try to add integer with a string, so I have str1 which stores a string value, and when I try to do that, you see it shows me a type error. It says you cannot add integer value with a string value. Okay, so remember, whenever you are trying to apply arithmetic addition, you cannot add a string value with an integer value. So I will be repeating this again and again. So let me just copy this. And now we will be talking about next arithmetic operation, that is subtraction. So we will again follow the same thing. We will try to perform subtraction between two integer value, then subtraction between integer and a floating point number, and then subtraction between integer and a string. So let's see. So when I say 20 minus 10, both are integer value, what should be the result? I'm sure you all have guessed right, it's 10. And when I see the type of result, it's integer. So subtraction between two integer value will return you a integer value. Now moving forward, I am trying to subtract integer and float value over here. So it's 20 minus 1.5. I'm sure you all know the result. It's 18.5, and when I try to see the type of written value, it's float value. So if you are trying to apply arithmetic subtraction between integer and a floating point number, you get result as a float number. Now when I try to apply subtraction between integer and a string, it's a error, type error. Okay, so it's integer actually. I made a mistake in typing. Fine. So here it shows a type error, right? Now moving on to our next arithmetic operator, that was for multiplication. I hope you all remember, to multiply we used an asterisk sign, right? So when I try to multiply two integer values, that is 10 and 20, what will be the result? It's of course 200. Now let's just see what is the type I get. So type here is integer type. I'm trying to multiply two integer values, and the result I get is again a integer value. Moving forward, when I try to multiply an integer value with a floating point number, like 20 multiplied by 1.5, I get result as 30.0. And when I check the type, it's floating point. So when I am trying to multiply integer with a floating point number, the result is a floating point number again. Now let's try multiplying a integer number with a string. So what do you think? Will it successfully run or not? Let's find out. So voila, it's running. It's running successfully. And when I see the result is something like this. I'm sure this is something new to many of you. So what it has done is, it has replicated your string n number of times. So here I said a is 20, and I multiplied string which had ABC in it, ABC 20 times. That means I have replicated ABC 20 times. So here when I try to perform multiplication between an integer and a string value, it replicates your string value n number of times. And when you see the written type, it's string obviously. Right? So you were not able to add a string and integer. You were not able to subtract string and integer, but you were able to multiply. Now let's see the division thing. When I try to divide two integer values, that is 20 divided by 10, the result has to be, of course, 2.0. And when I see the type, it is a floating point number. So here I am actually dividing two integer values and the result is a floating point number. If you remember, when I added two integer value, I got an integer. When I subtracted two integer value, I got a integer value in result. Now when I multiplied two integer values, I got integer as a result. But when I am dividing two integer values, I am getting a floating point number. Now let's see, let's try dividing integer value with a floating point number, that is 20 divided by 1.5. Let's see the result, it's 13.33 and the result is again of floating point type. The type of your result is floating point. Now if I try to divide integer and a string number, it will return you an error again, right? You cannot divide these two. Moving forward, let's try our next operator, that is modulus operator. If you all remember from our previous slide, I told you that modulus operator returns you the result, the remainder part, right? So let's just see 20 divided by 10. What shall be the result? It's 0. The remainder is 0 exactly. Okay, if you remember, when I divided 20 divided by 10, it gave you 2.0. So after decimal point you got 0. So here it is. Now let's divide let's find out how modulus operator performs on between integer and a float value. So I have 20 as my integer and 1.5 as my float value, and when I try to find out the modulus I get 0.5. So let me just rerun it again. Okay, so when I tried doing this, A divided by C, the result was 13.3333, something like that. And when I tried to find out the remainder, it gave you 0.5. So you can just try doing it on paper with your pen. Just divide 20 with 1.5. You will get 0.5 as a remainder, right? So here it is again, the result is floating point. And if I try to perform modulus, if I try to find out the remainder between A and string 1, it will give me an error because that is not possible. Fine, moving forward. The next operator which we spoke about was float division, which is a new operator for you guys. So float division gave you the integer part of your division. If you remember, I said that in my slide. Fine. So I am I'm applying float division between two integers, that is 20 and 10. Let's see the integer part. It's 2, because when I divided 20 by 10, I used to get 2.0. I'll show you. Here we did something. Yes, I divided two integers over here and the result was 2.0. Now when I applying float division between same numbers, I get 2, only the integer part, right? And the result is integer part, of course. So again, when I'm trying to apply my float division between integer and float, let's see the result. It's 13.0. If you remember, when we did normal division between between integer and a floating point number, the result was 13.3333 something. And when I applied float division between integer value and a floating point number, I get only the integer part, that is 13, but the return type is float. Remember, the return type here is float. And if I try to apply float division between string and integer, it won't return me anything. And now moving on to our very last operator, that was exponent operator. So it's like 20 raised to the power of 10. This means 20 raised to the power of 1.5, and this means 20 raised to the power of ABC. Now let's see. when I'm doing it between two integer value, I get something as a result which is of integer type. When I'm applying exponent operator between integer and float, I again get some value, and this time this value is of float type. And when I try to do so with a string, it returns me an error. So I hope arithmetic operator was clear to you. So next we will be talking about relational operators. I'm sure we all are familiar to these relational operators. The very first relational operator is equal to equal to. The values which a relational operator return is either true or false. Okay. So if two values are equal, it will give you true. If they are not equal, it will give you false. So here when I say equal to, I want to check if two values are same or not. I will apply equal to sign twice. So 3 equal to 3, it will return you true. If I want to check if two values are not equal to each other, so for example, I am saying here, so I have written 3 not equal to. So exclamation mark and equal to sign. So 3 is not equal to true. It is not, so it will return you true, of course. And then we have got greater than sign. If 2 is greater than 3, it will give you true or false accordingly. So 2 is not greater than 3, so it returned you false. Similarly, less than sign, then greater than equal to sign, and then less than equal to sign. So let's quickly go back to our IDE and try running all these. So let's begin. Let's talk about relational operators. So if I want to check if A is equal to B or not, let's just see. It gave you false. Why? Because A is, if you remember, I'll just copy and paste it again. Here again. Okay. So let me just paste it. So A is 20, B is 10, C is 1.5 and STR 1. So if I want to check if A is B equal to B, it says no, it's not, so it returned you false. If A is not equal to B, and that's true because 20 is not equal to 10, so it gave you true in result. Fine. And if I want to check if A is less than equal to B, so A is 20 less than equal to 10? No, so it gave you false. Similarly, if I want to check if A is greater than equal to B, let me just show you again. Yes, of course 20 is greater than equal to 10. Now if I want to simply apply, actually it is not equal, so let's just see if A is less than B, if A is less than B, is 20 less than 10? No, so it gave you false. Okay, and when I just copied it and again, is A greater than B? Let's check. So it gave you true. So this is how your relational operator work. So moving on, we have got next set of operators that is called assignment operator. So as you can see here, you know already one assignment operator, that is equal to sign. So when I say A is equal to 3, that means variable A stores value 3 in it. Similarly, we have few more assignment operator like plus equal to. Plus equal to says that you add the value on your right side of equal to operator to the previous value already stored in the variable A. So when I say A plus equal to 3, and suppose A had value 3 in it initially, so what it will do, it will say 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. So I am actually adding 2 to the previous value, the older value stored in A. So earlier A had 3 in it, now I am adding 2 to 3, so it gives me 5. Similarly, if I want to subtract 2 from A, so it's A minus is equal to 2, which actually means A is equal to A minus 2. So initially A had 3 in it, now A minus 2 is 1. Similarly, when I say A into equal to sign, that means it will multiply value to the previous value stored in A. Similarly, I can do same operations on all other arithmetic operators, that is float, division, modulus and your exponents. So let's try doing so. So here we have our assignment operators. So we will be taking same values of a plus b. So when I say a is equal to 20, so it will simply assign value a to 20. I'll just show you the value of a over here by printing it, and a is equal to, yeah, print a, so it gave me 20. So I have initialized value of a as 20. Now I want to add, suppose b in it, I want to add 10 in it. What I can do, a plus equal to b. Okay, so let's just see what it gives me, and now I'll just again try to print the value of a. Let me show you. So 10 plus 20 is 30, of course. So it has added 20 to the value of a, previous value of a, which was 20. So actually what it did was, let me just put it in comments. It was a is equal to a plus b. Now a was already, the older value of a was 20 and b had 10 in it. So it gave me 30 as a result. Now I want to subtract, suppose I want to subtract b from a. So a minus equal to b. Can anyone guess the answer here? So let's just run it and then I'll explain you. Now it is 20. Why? Because in previous step I changed my value of a to 30. So initially a is, now the value stored in a is 30. We performed it over here. Now what I am trying to do is a is equal to 30 minus b. b is 10. So this will give you, of course, 20. Right? Similarly, if I want to multiply, for example, I want to multiply 10 to the previous value of a. So a into equal to b, because b had 20 in it. Okay, and it's not necessary that you use a variable name. I can do something like this also. Now what I am doing is I am trying to multiply 2 to the previous value stored in a. Okay, and then I'll just print a. Let's see. So the value now stored in a is 20. Remember, here I have changed again. So 20 multiplied by 2. It gives me 40. I'll just rerun it. See. Oh, I just rerun it twice, so it's giving me 20. So let me, yeah, fine. So now the value stored in a is 80. Earlier it was 40. Here it's 40. And then I again rerun it. So I did 40 into 2. That is 80. I got 80. Now if you rerun it again, so this will give you 80 multiplied by 2. That is 160. Okay, now if I want to, for example, divide it by 12. I want to divide the value stored in a with 12. So it's a divide equal to 12. And then I'll print the value of a. Okay, so now a stores 120 in it. 120 divided by 12, and let's see what's the answer. It's 13.33. You can try doing it. Similarly, if I want to see the floor division, only the division part, only the integer part, and this time I am dividing it with 10. Okay, and let's see what a has in it. So now the value stored in a is 13.33, and now I am trying to apply floor division in it. So it will give me, of course, 1, because 13.33 divided by 10 gives you 1.333 something, and the integer part is just 1 in it. Okay, so this is how your assignment operator works. Next type of operator which we will be studying today are called logical operators. So we have got 3 logical operators, that is AND, OR and NOT. For AND you have to use ampersand sign twice. For logical OR you need to use this pipeline operator twice, and then for NOT, logical NOT, you have to use exclamation symbol. Right? So let's begin. I'll show you how it works. Before we see how to implement these logical operator, I want to share one truth table with you. I hope many of you have seen this truth table where 0 and 0, the operation between 2 0 give you, and if you apply AND operation it gives you 0. For operation for OR it gives you 0 and 0 is 0 again. Similarly, if one value is 0 means false and 1 means true over here. Okay, so if one value is false, another value is true, and you apply AND operation, it will always give you false. So for false, both the value has to be true, then only it will return you a true value, else it will return you false. Okay, and in case of OR operation, if any of the two values, if any one of the two value is true, it will return you a true value. So you can see here, only in the first case both the values are false, so here you are getting a false 0, and rest 3 cases you have true at least once, so you get 1 in rest other cases. Fine, so let's move on. So here we'll be talking about logical operator. So the use cases are when we have to check 2 or more conditions, and we have to check, we have this restriction that all the condition must be true, or either of one condition must be true, or at least one condition must be true. There we use or logical operator. So when we say all condition must be true, we have to apply AND operation. When I say at least one has to be true, you can apply OR operation. Okay, and not is of course when none of the condition is true, that there you apply NOT operator. So one use case of this is, I want to check if a person is eligible to vote or not in India. So for that, the person has to be of at least, his age has to be 18 or more, and he has to be a citizen of India, right? So I ask that person to give me 2 details: his age, for example, his age is 20, and his citizenship. Okay, and here he says he is an Indian. Now what logic can I build here? Because if he is eligible to vote, both the condition must be true. So the condition says that age of that person has to be greater than equal to 18. And so here you see, rather than using 2 ampersand sign, I'm using AND. So you can use AND, logical AND, in this way also. And he has to be a citizen of India. Okay, so citizenship must be Indian. Citizen equal to Indian. I'm not using assignment over here, I'm using comparison. Okay, fine. So let's just see, age is 20, the person said, so his citizenship is Indian, and now let's see. So it gave me true. Why true? Because see, now here I have got 2 parts in this logical AND operation. First part is of age greater than equal to 18, and second part is citizen equal to Indian. So accordingly you can see that this part 1 is true because 20 is greater than equal to 18, and citizen is Indian, so Indian equal to Indian is also true. So when both the values are true and we apply AND operation, you get a result true. For example, I'll just change the age 10. This person says he is 10-year-old and he is a citizen of India. So this time, what will be the result? Result is false. Why? Because the first part returned me false, the second part returned me true. And when you apply AND operation between 0 and 1, it will give you 0 always. Okay, now if I would have applied OR over here, OR says at least one of the condition must be true. So in this case, you see, one condition is true, citizenship is Indian, he is a citizen of India, this is true, but his age is not greater than equal to 18. So it says if at least one condition has to be true, and it will return you true value. So here it returned me true value. So this is how logical and logical OR works. Okay, and if I want to check if age is not equal to 18, simply, so it says yes, it's not equal to 18, and citizenship is also true. Now let me put AND over here and wait. So age is not equal to 18 and he is a citizen of India. Yes, it's saying true because here I have used not equal to, but the right logic was the age has to be greater than equal to 18. Just to show you, I have just applied not equal to. Fine. So let's move on. So the next set of operators are called bitwise operator. They are just similar to what we did in logical operators like AND or NOT. Only difference is here we are talking about bits, binary system. So when you want to find bitwise AND between two numbers, they are first converted into binary number, and then according to the truth table given here, the result is calculated, and then the result is again converted to your decimal number and you find the result. So I'll just show you with few examples. So here what I have done, I have taken two variables, A with value 10 and B with value 20. And now when I want to apply various bitwise operators like AND and OR, first what your system will do, it will convert 10 into a binary number. Then it will convert 20 into binary number. So I hope you all know how to convert a decimal number into binary number. And then it will apply AND operation. So in the previous slide you saw the truth table. Accordingly you can calculate the result. So AND operation says both the values has to be 1, then only the result is 1. So in any of the cells you see, there is like here you see in your least significant bit both are 0. So the result is 0, and then 1 0 is again 0, 0 1 is again 0. So the result is 0 over here. Similarly, when you apply OR operation, same thing happened. You converted 10 into binary, 20 into binary, and then you calculated result according to the truth table. So OR says if any of the bit is 1, the result is 1. So here you see 0 0 0. Now here 1 0, you have 1 coming, so the result is 1. Again 0 1, so result is 1. So you get this result, and when you convert it into decimal number you get 30. Similarly for XOR, you can go and check the truth table. Just rewind this video a bit and you will find that for XOR only and only one bit has to be 1, then you get 1, otherwise you get 0. So applying the same rule, you calculate A XOR B, the result is 30 again. Now for the complement value, in many of the text you will find that it says that to apply a NOT operator, bitwise NOT, it simply complements, it finds one's complement of that number. But here what you actually are doing is, you have 10 and I want to find NOT of 10. Okay, so I'll add 1 to my least significant bit, and here the result is this, and when I convert it into decimal point it's 11, but this time it is negative 11 because I have complemented it, so you will get minus 11 as your result. So now I'll show you how to use bitwise operators. Okay, so let's take the same example which we discussed. So A is 20, A is 10, B is 20, and when I try to do A bitwise AND operator, I'm applying bitwise AND, so it's single ampersand sign in between. Okay, and so A is 10, B is 20. Okay, and then I'll just print the result over here only. Directly I'll print the result. So I have applied bitwise AND operator. For bitwise AND I have used single ampersand sign, and the result is 0. And you know why? You just convert a 10 in binary format, 20 in binary format, and apply AND operation in between. Similarly, if I want to see what is the result of OR operation, okay, so for OR operation what I have to do, I have to use this pipeline operator here, symbol here. So as already discussed, the result is 30 again. Now let's see what is the result of A XOR B. Okay, so this is A XOR B, and let's see, so result is 30 again. Now I will try to find the NOT of A, that is the tilde sign A. Okay, complement of A, you can say. So it's minus 11. As I told you, what it does, it converts A into binary format, adds 1 to the least significant bit, and gives you the answer and puts a negative sign because it is complement. So next set of operator is membership operator and identity operator. Membership operators are usually used when we have sequences with us and we want to find out whether an element is in that sequence or not. For example, I have a list of number 1 to 20 and I want to find out if 10 is there in that list or not. If I have a list of even numbers and I want to find out if 13 is there or not. So I can use in operator. If I want to find out that a particular element is not in the list, so I can use not in operator. If the element is actually not present in that list, it will return true, else it will return false, right? And similarly we have got is and is not. These are the identity operator. Like if I want to check if a is b, that is if a is equal to b or not, it's similar to that. Okay, so talking about membership operators. For example, I want to see if for example a is equal to 10, a is equal to 10, and I want to see a in, I have a list here of all the even numbers, for example till 14. Okay, now I want to see a is 10, I said, and if a, it said true because it is there. For example, if a was missing and I want to check if a is in this list or not, it will return me false because now 10 is not there in this list. Okay, similarly opposite of that is not in, a not in. Now I'm trying to check if 10 is not there in the list, so it says false because right now 10 is there in the list. Okay, now if I remove this 10 and then check if a is not there in the list, it will return me true because this time 10 is not there in the list. Okay, similarly if I want to check is operator and I say b is equal to 10, I have another variable b is equal to 10 and I'm checking a is b, so both the values are equal, so it says true. For example, if I make b as 100, now I check a is b, it says false. Okay, and there is another operator is not. Okay, now see, a is not b, is it true or false? It's true because 10 is not 100, so it will give you true. And if I say, now I have done b is 10, a is 10, b is 10, so a is not b, a is b actually, so it will return you false this time. This was all about operators in Python language. So I hope you were able to understand what different operators are, how they work actually. So when we will move on to more complex programming, these operators will come in use. We will see few examples also in upcoming lectures. I hope you like this lecture, you were able to understand. In case you have any query, you can drop me a message in my inbox, you can comment here. Just don't forget to like, subscribe and share.